welcome to Mobility 2.0. This little 5-10 minute workout is really great for hip mobility, for runners, for lifters, for anybody that's really using your legs. So that's all of us. So we can all utilize this. This is great for active recovery, for after a long run or before a long run. Can also be really good to just give a little bit of extra love to our feet and our legs. So we're starting sitting, and I'm using just a 2-pound small weight. You could use a lacrosse ball, tennis ball, even just a water bottle. If you have a lot of pain under your feet, you could also freeze the water bottle, and that will give some ice to add a little bit of ice treatment for your feet. So all you're doing is rolling back and forth, putting a little bit of pressure on the foot, on the ball. You're just rolling through the arch of your foot. And a lot of us, certainly a lot of times in arch supported shoes, or maybe not, we have weaker arches, and especially if you're running or spending a significant amount of time on your feet. So that could be walking, hiking, anything like that. You're going to have some buildup here. Now you want to spend about 30 seconds to a minute, no longer than a minute really, because our feet are really sensitive. We don't want to put too much pressure on them. And make sure what you do on one side, you do on the other. And it might just feel good just to hold at any specific point here, and that is totally okay as well. And foam rolling is really just a temporary relief. It can be really nice before a run or workout, just to get some of that blood flow moving, some of that tissue adhesions kind of massaged. But the real important thing with foam rolling is that after you do movement. So if you don't do any movement or any stretching after foam rolling, it's just temporary reliefs. But if you do some movement, work with the muscles after, you're building that strength in a little bit better range of motion. So I like pairing our foam rolling with some mobility drills. So after you get both of your feet foam rolled out, you can move that to the side. And now we're just isolating the arch, and you're going to try to lift the arch up without crunching the toes, which is really hard to do. And so I say do one foot at a time. And all you're trying to do is pick up that arch and really working on that foot motion. Now it looks like I'm probably not doing anything right now. And this is easier barefoot, but you can do it with shoes on too. So this is something you can do at the desk at work, is just these little heel arches and heel lifts. And do about like 10 on each side. And you can do 2 or 3 sets of these, or throughout the day. So again, trying to not use your toes so much, trying to keep your toes flat. I have a hard time with that. And just picking up the heel of your foot. You never thought you'd be doing foot crunches, but here we are. As our basis of our support starts at our feet. When we're running, when we're walking, we're using our feet and our ankles for that support. So it's really important to do a little bit of work here. Okay, so after 2 to 3 sets, we're going to foam roll up the legs. So I'll show you 2 different methods to foam roll. You can find foam rolls almost anywhere really, and they're a good tool to have. If you don't, in a pinch, you can use a PVC pipe, and which is really hard, but I'll also show you how you can use a block as well. So 1 foot at a time, you're supporting yourself here on your hands, picking up your booty a little bit, and just rolling the calf out here. Side or forward and back, and angling the calf as well, so you're getting the side of the calf. And make sure you're getting the inside of the calf as well. Now if you find a spot that really feels it, you can go a little bit forward and back, and that's that rotational movement. You have 2 muscles in your calf, so this can help just separate them. Oh. And if you've been running all week, this might be painful. A little bit of pain, a little bit of torture is okay. You don't want to go too hard that you're bruising or that you're really starting to feel any tingliness or numbing. That means you're hitting a nerve. So that means to back off a little bit. So you're going to come up the leg to the hamstring. And again, roll here. Forward and back. The hamstrings are a little harder to get the pressure, so you might need to put a little bit more weight on the foam roller. And again, I'm going a little faster than you have to. Spend about 30 seconds, a minute at each length of the muscle. Now, this is one of my favorites. You're coming on to your elbow and you're rolling along the IT band. So you want to be right along the side, all the way up to about the pocket. You be careful with going all the way to the hip bone, because that can be easily bruised, and it's not fun to bruise the hip bone. And then from here, we're rolling over to our quad. So I'm going to show you on the left, so that switching out the legs, but you can do one leg at a time, or do calf, calf, hamstring, hamstring. So you have one knee bent up here for that support, and the other one is rolling along. And then again, this is where you're going to get a bit more specific. So when you find a tight area, do some hamstring curls here. Make that quad work through the motion. Ooh. And that's how you get all the way up through the legs. Showing you with the block. So if you have a block, you don't have a foam roller, and you're not sure about investing yet, it's more trigger pointing. So you have to find the edge of your block, and then you're rolling again side to side. So here's with the calf, and then you have to move the body, roll side to side. So you're getting a bit more of the lateral movement, not so much the up and down. And it takes a little bit more time to build up that area. It works really well for the quads though, so you can just put the block here on the quad and then do that bending motion. So here and here. Now foam rolling you can do before the mobility 1.0 set, before your run. Just kind of get the muscles loosened up and warmed up. You can also do it as its own workout on that active recovery day. So, like I said before, once we get the muscles a little warmed up, we're going to do some stretching and some mobility, some range of motion. So with that calf, you're here, you can be laying down, you're just doing little foot pumps here. Pointing, flexing the foot, moving the calf. Without any load, any weight. You can do this sitting, get a little bit more load on. But refrain from standing and trying to work out the calf. We're just working through range of motion. After that, the calf set, about 30 seconds, about 10, 3 times, something like that. We're doing some quad sets. So you're pressing. And again, you can be even leaning against a wall here. You don't have to use your core, but engage that quad. The other leg is going to be resting. Engage the quad, and then lift the leg up and over an object. This can be a block. It can be a weight, a water bottle. The higher you lift, the harder that range. This is working the hip flexor. This is working the quad. This is a great prehab exercise for the knee as you're building that stability and that strength in the quad, making sure that the leg is really active here. And do 10 each leg 2 times. Okay. And some of my favorite mobility for the hips, it's a little 90-90. So both knees are bent at a 90 degrees, and you're just pressing up the hips. So these little hip presses, one hand is weighted, hips are pressing up. Ooh, and you can hear that little motion. Pops and clicks without pain is fine. It's muscles moving over each other, some release of air, a few different theories and reasons. If there's pain, then you're going a little bit too much into motion. Now we can add up this for the mobility of the hip. You're going to press up, step through, come back down. This is good for back. This is good for that hip motion. You're pressing and standing. One more time. Make sure I'm in the screen here. Press the hip up, step it through. And what do you do on one side? Do on the other. Do about 10 presses. Each side, pressing the hips up, and 10 step throughs. Press and step. Good. Now you'll transition in onto all fours and do some cobra move through. So you're arching the back here in the cat, coming on down, pressing on up, back through, down, and press. And you can separate the two there, going slowly. Inhale through, down, exhale up, inhale through, and even exhale into a cat or a child's pose. Or move through one motion. So you're here, drop and release. Inhale, exhale. Working the low back here, the shoulders. You might be like, well, this isn't really hitting my legs. But you're working the low back, which is everything's connected. So we want to make sure we're going all the way up through, even through the shoulders, as you can be tense as you run. And the last little one we're going to do here is come into a stance. Press the hips forward, stretch out through the quad, and then shift it on back. Give some more space. So inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, hinge back. And moving with the breath here. So inhale, exhale. And there you have it, a quick little mobility run through of the lower body. Now I spent maybe less than 10 minutes. You can take this up into 30 minutes as you go through each set, really working through the breath, or you can make it as short as the 10 minutes we did. Making sure you get both sides evenly and really breathe through the motions. And after this, you can go for a nice gentle walk, finish your active recovery day, or begin that run, that long distance run. So I hope you enjoy your workout and have a fun, relaxing day, either or both. Kind of do both. And take care.